Hey, Ryan here, and in the next 7 minutes, we're going to go through the really powerful and really underrated feature of GoHighLevel, which is documents and contracts, and the ability to do electronic signing business processes. So e-signing workflows have been around for about a decade, and we kind of started with, the advent of PDF. PDFs weren't really editable because it was a proprietary standard. It became a more open standard at some point, which meant that rather than just everyone having to use Adobe Acrobat to edit and sign PDFs, we had e-signatures come, from companies like, Nitro and Foxit and all these types of different organizations, mostly in the enterprise and mostly for legal. But now, e-signing is kind of everywhere, and so it should also relate to you. So if you're still doing anything paper-based, forms, waivers, anything like that, you're going to want to see this because you want to be able to do e-signing workflows, which are perfectly legal and valid in almost every developed country that I've worked in and know of. So let's have a look. So first off, you want to go into your documents and contracts area, right? So, you can build documents and contracts, but they don't need to create anything from scratch. Now, it is really good if you do build something from scratch, but you can just upload an existing PDF. So like, let's just say I have a covering page here that is for a proposal that I've just done. Now, this proposal here is just the cover page, right? So it's just the cover page. Let me just choose, there we go. We've got just the cover page. And in that cover page, let me just get rid of that. You can do more than one. So you're going to upload the PDF. And then what it does is it just basically stores that, and it will allow us to put variable elements onto the screen. So now we've got that here. Let's just say I wanted to have someone sign this. So what we're going to do is we're going to blur out our personal information here. I'm just going to add this person, and I'm going to say, it'd be great if you could sign. So we're going to go and grab, just move my face out the way. We're going to go and grab our signature, and we're going to drop it here. So of course, this is just a covering page, and for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just using the covering page. Now, what's really cool here is that you can get a really good idea of what this is going to look like. Someone opens the link and then they're going to sign the document for you. Now, a lot of business processes around signing is that you ask people questions about themselves. How old are you? Would you like this product or service? Where are you from? What's your postcode? Anything like that. And then basically you're pre-filling those forms in and you're sending them to sign. So what we can do is we can say, okay, great, like this is going to look like this, and then they can of course download this as a PDF if they really wanted to, and they could sign it. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, no, this is great and everything like that, but there might be variable information. So like, let's just add an additional page here. So this might be a contract or something like that. So what we would do is we would have like our terms of service, right, which is directly beneath us. You might have a block of text which sits underneath this, and this is going to go, you agree to, X, Y, and Z. And you, the company, and then you're like, well, what is the company? And the company, of course, is attached to the contact that we're sending this to. And so we can use what's called variables, right? So you've got document variables, which are essentially kind of like semi-permanent variables, which are dynamic per the document, right? So it could be the creation date, the invoice number, the document number, who you're sending it from, those types of things. But of course, we still have, rather than company name, you might have a document custom value, and so that is the company name right here. Now, because I've already got it set to a contact, it's already pulling through that sort of business name that's attached to that contact for me. So if I change the recipient, it changes the values that we already see there. So you can do that with a whole bunch of different things. If you've already got, a whole bunch of different legal, you can basically just paste that in. And then what you can do is in the bits that need to change dynamically based on who you're sending it to, you just replace those values with the dynamic values or the custom values as they're referred to here. And of course, we can also add payment settings in. So if you do have something like Stripe integrated here, we can basically have it so that if someone's signing something, you can enable your invoice or an invoice to be automatically sent to them upon the assignment, the signature being captured. It can be a recurring subscription or a one-time payment. And of course, we could say that payments are collected immediately after signing. So it's like, if they've signed, they've agreed, and then we expect them to pay the invoice immediately. And a lot of stuff that I do on retainer would qualify for this as well. Or what you're going to do is you're going to issue an invoice, which might go to someone else in a billing team, and they have a payment method, and that's then used for all future payments on, say, a subscription. So extremely handy and useful. Things like corporate contracts and that sort of thing. The other really cool thing is that you can add dynamic page information to the content library. So what do I mean by this, right? So if we were building a proposal rather than just taking what we've got as an existing PDF and actually building this out, we might add a heading. And so I'll drag a heading on and I'll say like, this is pricing. Now I might have a pricing table which exists in USD. So this would be my items and this would be my price. So this might be, $2,000 USD, and that may not contain different types of taxes. So we might say, okay, this is for service A. Now this is USD. Now you won't price in USD. You would send a customer who's waiting to receive something in USD and they assume the currency. So I'm going to add this page to the content library and I'm going to say pricing matrix, and I'm going to say in USD. So of course, you know where I'm going with this. So what I would then do is that when I'm building out different proposals, maybe I've got a really nice designed cover page, but somewhere along the line, I want to reuse an element and I want to bring in, well, this customer here is from the US. So I'm going to just drag elements, right? So I would pull through a pricing page for USD. I would pull through a covering page. If I've got different products and services, I would, that change based on, the currency, the pricing of products that they're going for, maybe the different types of legal agreements that they need to sign. So maybe I've got 3 different types of legal agreements, and depending on what they've agreed to, they're going to receive that or not. But I wanted to put it all into one document from the collection of information that I have at my disposal in my repertoire. So the content library is absolutely massively powerful in that respect. And then off we go. We can go ahead and use that template ready to go, and we're ready to then send on. And of course, the other beautiful part of this then is that not only we get notified when we go to send to somebody, when we go to send, we can set an expiry. So if you're in sales and those types of things, having expiries, reminding people that they need to sign something before an expiration date saves you from chasing people because they're being notified by the software that this proposal expires tomorrow. So if you've said to someone, I'm going to give you 20% off, but you have to sign the proposal by Friday, you don't do the chasing. The document itself does the chasing, which really does act as a really handy tool in terms of creating urgency in those types of situations where you want someone to sign in the time frame that they agreed that they would sign in. So beyond this, the other thing that I would definitely add if you're getting into the e-signing process of sending out proposals, invoices, all those types of things, is looking at the automation side of this. So being able to then build workflows and then have workflows trigger off information that's going on. So if it's a contract, for instance, documents and contracts, and then you can basically go, well, if these things happen in this document, then go and do this. So getting updates, those types of things, as those documents are being signed, as they're being rejected, if the values are being changed, all of those different types of things around paperwork can now exist as an automation inside your workflows as well, which is extremely handy for back office processing and administration. That if you are doing it inside of GoHighLevel, you can't just necessarily hand this off to an AI agent or something like that, because it's not sort of surface level. It's kind of deep integration work that relies on workflows. So it's the perfect combination to building out documents and contracts, workflows, and templates. Hope this has been helpful. Again, if you like this sort of stuff, please like and subscribe. New content out weekly. Check us out at GoHighLevel.io if you want us to build any of this for you. I've been Ryan. Catch you on the next one.